Well, welcome again to another short edition of A Closer Look with Gary Gilbranson, and I am Gary Gilbranson. And today I want to talk to you about stories. We live lives that are shaped by the stories of our life. In fact, we all have them. Some of those stories were shared generationally with us. I was telling a friend here recently that some of my favorite stories grew out of a time that I got to interact with my great-grandmother, who grew up on the prairie back in South Dakota in a family homestead, lived in a sod hut, lived through some very harsh winters back in the Dakotas, lived with a family structure. She was the oldest of 10 kids, but she came to faith in that family structure and then felt a generational responsibility to tell her stories, moved by her own faith experience to those of us who came along a little bit later. I know that I came to personal relationship with Jesus, and I'm in ministry today because of the faithful storytelling of my great-grandmother. And it's reminded me that I've got stories to tell as well. That not just the stories that might be a part of preaching sermons on a Sunday morning, but the stories that need to be shared with a spouse who loves Jesus and kids and grandkids now. I want them to know how it is that I encountered Jesus, how he changed my life. I want them to know of subsequent encounters that I've had with Christ over the years. I want my family, the people who are closest to me, to know that my salvation works. It's not only true and powerful in my life, but it works every single day, and those are the things that flow from our stories. So who knows the story of your life? The story of your God experience, how you came to know Jesus. Hopefully the people who are closest to you. And something interesting happens when we get used to telling our stories to people that we know and love us and people we build trust with. It becomes that much easier to share with people who don't know Jesus. And we need to be about that business. I don't think God left it to people who went to seminary or people who wound up in jobs like mine. I think he had it in mind that every single one of us should be involved in sharing the good news of the gospel, that story of Jesus' encounter with us, with people who need to know him. So let's make that your goal. Let's make it your goal today after you've heard this program, or maybe it's your goal for this week, or before this year is completed, you will have told somebody your story, and then let God do something with that. He's the one that's eventually going to bring people to himself, but he's going to use you if you're willing to tell your story.